There's a new set of products for motorcyclists that enable you to project your phone on a screen, even if your bike didn't come with a screen. This allows you not to be dropping your phone all the time, to have a bigger screen, to connect to see your tire pressure. Sometimes they come with a dual camera system as well for security. I'd like to introduce you to some of these products. I'm reviewing a few of them, and I hope maybe they make your life a little bit easier, at least safer, getting that phone higher in front in a bigger way. Let's do it. Greetings riders, welcome to another product review for the motorcycle industry. This here is the Ohrex CarPlay Android Auto screen. Basically a 5-inch screen for your motorcycle. For those bikes that don't come with a screen, it's not just for bikes, it could be for your snowmobile, for even your car. So these are a new set of products that have come online recently, and I've been looking for something for my sidecar business. I have sidecars that are parked in certain areas in the public that I'd like to have cameras on, and for insurance purposes, some of these come with dual camera systems that are always recording front and rear. And if something happens, if the GPS sensor senses that there's a significant event, as they call it, then it saves that footage. So it's kind of useful. So I like to have those cameras always looking, and as a YouTuber as well, it's nice to have a recording in 1080p. This does not come with cameras, although you can buy a version of it that does. This is basically a product that was sent to me by the company to review. So in some ways, this is a sponsored video. However, I'm not going to be keeping this. You know, this channel was built on independence, so I'm going to gift this product to one of my subscribers, and actually it's going to be a surprise to a client of mine that I recently introduced to motorcycling. So I basically bought a GS650 for him, and the GS650 in the 2015 didn't come with any kind of screen, and he really likes this kind of stuff. And aside from liking these gadgets, they are very useful, because the second main reason for crashes that are responsibility of the rider are due to being distracted. Now, the first one is alcohol. Alcohol and riding doesn't mix. The National Highway Safety Administration just released their report on 2022, and the first reason for crashes has been always alcohol. The second reason has been distracted driving. Now, that doesn't necessarily always mean the phone, if you're looking down or not. But for me, personally, I can attest to being distracted by my phone on the motorcycle, almost crashing or crashing. I crashed in Spain this way. I crashed in France this way. Obviously, United States, many times just being distracted, not looking where I'm supposed to go. Yesterday, I was riding in Mammoth Mountain Bike Park. The gondola takes you all the way to the top of the mountain, 11,000 feet, and then you ride your mountain bike down the mountain. And yeah, I had my GoPro in my pocket, and the mount was stabbing me in the thigh, and I knew I shouldn't touch it or mess with it, or I should stop, but you're already kind of bombing down the hill. You're having a good time flowing. And I looked down, try to fix it, just move it out of the way, and I took the handlebar right into my throat, and has been difficult to actually swallow. Look at that. That's the result of being distracted on a bicycle. So on a motorcycle, it can even be worse. So obviously, these screens are helpful because they get your eyes off the little screen of your phone and hopefully up higher in a bigger screen where you don't have to look down. Any second of distraction down. That's been my experience. So from now on, I always get the tallest adapter for the RAM mounts, for example, that I can find. One of those 5-inch ones. I think they even sell a 7-inch, so you really get it up in front of your face. So this screen is useful in that regard. It's waterproof, rainproof. You're not going to ruin it by riding in the rain. You can connect your CarPlay and Android Auto, your maps. It doesn't have an internal GPS, so it's not a GPS in its own right. It completely depends on your phone reception, which for 99% of the time it's going to be fine. It has a little screen up top to prevent the sun glare, and it does not have auto adaptive brightness for night mode, for example, and I think that's one of the negative features that I've been reading from other reviews and comments. Again, the comment section of YouTube is always my favorite part. It's the reason why I do this. I do this so I learn from you. But I've been looking for this product for my fleet, and here's one that's been sent to me to get to know, so I'd like to show it to you, and then we're going to install it on the client's bike. We'll take it for a ride and we'll see how it performs. So this unit is going to be great because neither the F800 GS nor the 650 GS have an Android compatible screen, and because they both have handlebars, these will clip in with the ball mount to either of these, just like the phone, and then you can have a pretty nice screen with everything you need, or you might not actually need. But look at that beautiful bike. I love that blue. All right, enjoy the ride. So in a box, it's called Ohrex, O-H-R-E-X. This is the 5X model. So it's HD screen. I think it's supposed to be a 5-inch screen. We'll measure all that and make sure it's correct. I'm going to talk to them as well to maybe get a discount for my viewers. Let's say you put in a code Pegasus or something in checkout and you get a decent amount off. I think that'll be something that I can help you with if you decide you're going to go with this product. So here's the product. Pretty handsome looking piece of equipment. Feels sturdy enough. It comes already with a ball mount akin to a 1-inch ball mount from Ram mounts, so I think it's going to be compatible. We'll check it. Feels pretty sturdy. It is plastic, and it's got this sunshade up top, as you could tell. So I think that's going to be useful just to prevent glare. There's a little film here we'll remove later. And let's see what that looks like when it's installed. It looks pretty sturdy. There's a little case here that I assume blocks the SD card with little tiny screws, and let's see if they included a screwdriver, and I don't think they did. So if you have a tiny screwdriver, you can replace the SD card. I think you can update the firmware that way, etc. Other than that, the power cable as well is screwed on. I think you could probably change that to a USB or something, because this is, again, useful for cars. But that's kind of neat because it's supposed to be anti-theft, where somebody can't just walk away with it without cutting the cable. So, and it seems like the power cable is a screw-on type. That's kind of nice, because the two camera systems that I use now, I'm not even going to tell the name because they're so bad. They just kind of plug into each other and they could always detach. They need to be screwed on. So I like that. That looks pretty sturdy. You'll get a Ram mount type adapter in the box. I think that's metal. So looks pretty beefy, looks pretty handsome. Again, the longer the better, so that it's in front of your face. You get a handlebar mount as well. If you have handlebars, if you have a Goldwing like my Fleet, then this isn't going to work. Well, actually it would work. I would have to install it this way into the two bolts that hold basically the levers together. So otherwise you would just install it on the bars itself. So that's great. They include that as well. It looks sturdy, and they do include a little wrench for that, so that's kind of nice. You get a long power cord, black and red wires that are exposed. So this is if you want to wire it either to your fuse box somehow, or if you want to wire it to your battery. And then again, it's screwed in, so that's kind of nice. And then you also get I guess an accessory power cord, and this goes into a USB. So if you're installing this in a car, that's going to be useful for you. And at the bottom of the box, there is the physical manual. Kind of nice. Very, very tiny lettering, but that's okay. I think we'll figure it out. The other interesting feature about this system, it's got a dual Bluetooth system incorporated into it, which means that this communicates separately with your, let's say, your Bluetooth audio in your helmet and with your phone. So if you need to use Siri to tell this to call somebody or to guide you to a certain destination, it doesn't interfere with the Bluetooth that's in your ear. That's kind of neat. So I don't see, there does seem to be a little speaker here, but obviously going to be useless to a motorcyclist. If you're in a car, maybe you could hear it, but I believe that you're going to get the audio through your Bluetooth system, and we'll check that out as well. We have a way to connect the phone and the Senna Bluetooth unit. I'm going to try connecting both an iPhone and an Android, and we'll see how easily and quickly that works, and if it's useful, as I imagine it will be. Now, I do have another product that I will be reviewing that's very similar to this, and this one comes from a company or brand name AOOCCI. I don't know how you pronounce that. This is all Chinese production, and to be honest, they look very similar in that regard. I would say this one looks a little more robust, and it does have a GPS mount for it. This one, however, did not come with the ball mount that I need to install on the motorcycle, which is a shame because until I have that, I can't really install it. This one has a few buttons on the side, and this one does not. So this is all touchscreen. We'll see how responsive that touchscreen is. But as opposed to the X5, the AOC comes with a dual camera system for the front and for the rear. Again, this records at all times, and it'll save a recording if it deems it to be worthy, if the GPS system records a crash or something like that. I digress. Let's install this system now and see how it works in daylight, and then we'll also test it at night, see if it's bright enough and see how the touchscreen works. I'm going to connect it to the battery. I wish they provided a way to connect this to the battery like the AOC already has it ready to kind of, you know, bolt down. The wire is so thin that I'm gonna have a hard time just stripping this in general. And then unless you're putting this into the fuse box and there are no directions on how you should connect this to the vehicle, then I'm just going to connect it to the battery, and I guess for now, without having to solder in a connector like this, then I'm going to just wrap it around the bolt. So all I'm going to do is I basically stripped it a little more. I'm just going to wrap it around this bolt because there is a grab washer there. So there's a nice little spider in there too. These things are dangerous for connections because they also conduct electricity. The spider web, so I'm told. And they could screw up your buttons, your starter buttons, your blinkers, that kind of thing. If the bike's been sitting, you do want to get those out of there. All right. This way, the unit will work even without the bike being on. That's one of the negatives of connecting it directly to the battery. There's no way to prevent it from draining unless you remember to shut it off. So a few issues that I've been reading online from the community, from other reviews and commentators of this product are the following. I had to note them down because there were a few. Using my trusty Pegasus planner, you can get yours at thepegasusplanner.com. That way you're also supporting the independence of this channel. This is something I created to be more organized, and beautiful leather planner with everything you need for the daily. Check it out on the website for a more descriptive video. So again, it doesn't have auto brightness, if that bothers you. It doesn't have tire pressure monitor system. That's interesting. My AOC does have that. It comes with the tire pressure monitor valve covers or whatever, little plugs. There isn't an internal GPS, no big deal if you're in the city with coverage. The bezels are pretty big. The bezels are the space between the actual screen, which does look like, I would say that's 5 inches. So the screen itself is about almost 3/4 of an inch away from the border. So you only get that much screen, 5 inches, instead of this, which almost looks like 7. So, but there are different models that you could order if that really bothers you. I mean, I think 5 inches is plenty. So there's no dash cams I get on this model. I'm also going to be reviewing a third unit that's very similar with the cameras, and that's by CarPlay as well. Again, another Chinese brand, so these names, who knows where they come up with them. I think the hardest thing is to invent these names. So stay tuned for 2 more reviews of competitive products, the AOC and the CarPlay. So we'll see which one works best, but honestly, they all look very similar. I don't think that they're very different in a lot of ways, because I think a lot of these are created by one major producer in China, and then they sell the rights to have these branded in whichever way to other companies. So the differences are minute, I would tend to think. So I've moved into the shadow here to see what this looks like. Now we'll move it into the sun. What I've done is I've connected it to the USB adapter that's provided. And again, I do like that this is a screw-on. That's very useful, because then it doesn't come apart. Let's see if it turns on if I connect it to the computer. Oh wow, that was very quick. That was super quick boot up. That's amazing. All right, so that's what it looks like, just like in the photo. Let's go through the menu together. I haven't really gone through the very extensive printed version of the manual. That's very small font, so let's just do this together. please use your iPhone to connect to Bluetooth. I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android. My wife has an iPhone, so we can try that. But let me see how quickly it connects to the Android. All right, going into settings of my phone, connections, let's see, Bluetooth, looking for it. I bet you it's this one, Car BT 9E. Okay, it's pairing, it's telling me or requesting to pair, and I think that should do it. Allow access to messages, allow connecting. There's a Bluetooth symbol right there. It's still connecting. Awesome. That was very, very easy and stress-free. I'm gonna take this off. Okay. Amazing. There we are. June Lake. The touch screen feels very good. I'm gonna try it with my gloves when I'm on the bike. So far feels very good. It doesn't zoom in and zoom out. That's something to keep in mind. No big deal. Again, mostly you're going to be using this for maps. So let's go to Mammoth, Crowley Lake Stone Column. Sure. Very quick, very quick. I mean, it's just like using your phone. All right, I like it. There's WhatsApp. That's very useful. I use that a lot. Okay, so far so good. Let's see how we can. What was this button for? I bet this is power. Let's see. Click it. It goes off. All right. Oh, so there's a little speaker. You can barely hear it though. Somehow Reuters is playing. I'm not really sure why. I'm turning up the volume, but nothing. I don't see how you can turn on. So this is useless, it seems. I don't know why that started playing, to be honest. Again, I don't really use my CarPlay or anything. So, all right. So I'm trying to go back to the menu. Here we are. There's Audible, calendar. Oh, it's got my phone back screen, my kids. Kinda. That's kind of neat. All right. Maps, messages, settings, Viber, voice, and WhatsApp. Okay, cool. So it's basically projecting the phone. And other than that, I'm trying to see how I can get back to the home screen. Let's see if it's this button again, because pressing it once I realized it. No, it doesn't do anything. It shuts it off. Okay. Turning it on. How do we get back to the home screen? Again, it's playing some kind of news in the background. Reuters, and I don't know why. I don't even know how that's connected or why I have Reuters playing. See, I'm not a techie at all. All right, so the Android phone, we saw that it connects real quick, but it won't disconnect. So here's a iPhone. Bear with me now. I'm not an iPhone user, so we're gonna try to connect with the Bluetooth here. Let's see, that's the speaker that I have next to me. It's looking for other devices. The screen went into timeout. Kind of interesting. And it's not finding it, because I think it reverted back to my phone again. But on the Mac, it's not really finding it. So again, I'm trying to disconnect. Oh, and music is playing again, or news, or whatever that is on Apple CarPlay. Very annoying. I don't know why that would be the case. Okay, so I think it's this guy. Let's just connect to the Mac and maybe it takes over. Very annoying. And now it's not really being responsive. Come on. So my Android phone is off. It's disconnected. Before I connect the iPhone, let's try to connect the Sena Bluetooth. Here I have a Sena Bluetooth system, and I'm not sure this is gonna work. Let me see. I'm gonna put the Sena in pairing mode. Intercom pairing. Intercom pairing. Not sure what's going on over there. No. I'm just pressing button at this point. The Sena intercom is trying to pair. The idea though is not that the Sena is paired with this unit, but with the phone. Not really sure what's going on. Alright, so I'm just gonna say that didn't work. What is the settings all about? Setup, basic setup, equipment setup, background system version. Okay. Alright. So, what we're gonna do now is try to connect the Bluetooth of the Apple phone. Let's try it. Come on. On the phone it says pairing unsuccessful, took too long. Let's try one more time. Actually, let's do this. Let's disconnect it from the power source. Let's connect it back to the power source. Let's see. Now maybe I can connect the Bluetooth. Navigation. Please connect Bluetooth. So that's the one. Is that the one? No, let's see. Car BT. All right, here we go. Car BT, pair, allow. On their website, the thing is selling for $230 US, and yeah, let's see, 5G built-in dual Bluetooth. So the unit does connect to the phone and to the helmet Bluetooth, which I wasn't able to connect. So let's see what happens if we search for it. I'm going to try that one more time while the phone is booting.
Hello.
Okay, the Sena is on. I'm going to put it in pairing mode. Intercom pairing. Let's search for it. All right, so I am confirmed that I am connected to my Bluetooth. This is the Sena unit right here, Sena 10S. This is an old unit, but it works fine. I just made a phone call, actually. It was a private call, so I canceled the camera recording. So it is coming through my headset. Now I'm gonna try to make a phone call this way. I'm gonna call my wife and let's see if it works like it should. So I think it's gotta be, what, headphones? Or, that's confusing. Is it Bluetooth? I don't hear any ringing. Okay, now I do. Now I do. So, Bluetooth. I guess there's a speakerphone as well. That's on my phone. I'm gonna go Bluetooth. Hello, love. I'm just testing this Bluetooth thing. Do you hear me okay? Do you hear me? Okay, thank you. That's all. Bye. All right, so that worked. Let's go back to the GPS maps. What I notice is every time I log in, this Reuters thing pops up, and I don't understand why or how to get rid of that. So if you do, please let me know. Let's take it for a spin around beautiful June Lake and see how this thing works. Again, it doesn't have the auto night mode where you can turn down the brightness. And again, it's connected directly to the battery, so I have to remember to take it off. But so this part works fine. I don't hear any directions on my GPS, so that's kind of interesting. I think that's some kind of a setting issue then, probably. But these are, again, these are settings for the phone, so you can play with that. So I think this unit is probably most useful as a replacement for the phone when you are looking to use it primarily as a replacement for the GPS, so basically Android Auto and nothing else. It's a little bit of a bigger screen, and it's stationary. I've broken a few phone screens by dropping them as I'm taking it off the RAM mounts, which are becoming ever more poorer in quality, unfortunately, compared to the old ones. So this replaces that, where you don't have to be putting your phone, you can leave it in a pocket, you could just deal with it that way. So I think in that regard it is useful. Other than that, I don't really know what you would use it for, unless, I don't know, there's a way you can listen to music or the audiobooks through your phone. You could do it that way. It just replaces your phone screen, basically. And again, if it prevents you from having to take your phone in and out of the RAM mount, which are now becoming also more complex with the garbage that they started using, the rubber corner units that always have to replace every month. If you like this unit, and for that reason and nothing more, check in the description. They've offered me a discount code for my subscribers, and if you could save some money that way. All right, I think the customer is going to be happy enough with this unit. We'll ask him in a while. Stay safe, don't be distracted. Until next time, Nick, come out.